good old boy in a four-wheel drive truck.
Why do you ask so many questions?
Absolutely no video cameras are allowed.
This is how I'm feeling right now because I just was almost killed by a monster truck.
I mean, doesn't anybody want us to race?
Shut it off.
What dance for me, honey?
I lost my brakes totally.
I love it when he beats Bigfoot.
You like what you're saying so far? You ain't seen nothing yet.
I don't think I've ever spent more than 20 seconds watching monster trucks on television. My whole concept of it was like, why would anybody do this?
The first thing that came to my mind when anybody mentioned monster trucks to me was Sunday, Sunday. I thought it was just completely bizarre that there were so many people that were into it.
I went out there wondering if there was anything more to this, because when I told all my friends that I was going to live with monster truck drivers for a month, they all laughed at me. They're like, what are you gonna get?
Conjures from disaster. Thunder. Dragon Slayer. Digger and more. They take on the roughest bone-jarring course you've ever seen.
All right, so here's my impression of monster truck racing. The audience is a bunch of blue-collar, beer-drinking, pickup truck driving, pot-bellied rednecks, and the drivers are probably just as classy. We're 3 journalists from New York City. Are we really gonna spend a month eating chicken fried steak and whooping it up with motorheads? We're gonna try.
We're 16 miles outside of Indio right now. We're approaching the first place that we're going to spend the weekend with monster truck drivers.
We know that they've been on the road for quite a while. They might be tired, they might be just gearing up for the show. We don't really know.
This morning, my wife was a bit concerned. She told me to be weary of drugs and prostitutes, and I told her not to have any fear because, I really don't think these guys are into that. But, I guess we'll see.
We just got here, and at first glance, these guys definitely seem to fit the stereotype.
Yo, Coors Light, Bud Light.
Coors Light.
Coors
Bud
Light,
Light.
Bud Light.
Thanks.
I never knew anybody who took shop class or fixed cars up on blocks in high school, but I'm guessing these are those guys.
The cool thing to me, and I'm just like these people up here because I'm learning, but you run and you hit that car, and what turns me on is when that car,
Terry Dickerson's the promoter of this weekend's monster truck show. He kind of reminds me of a used car salesman. Terry set up a lot of events around Indio to help hype it up.
Power 100.5.
And a lot of excitement is rolling around about this weekend. We are going to take a car.
Easy.
We're going to take the pink slip from that car.
Where's the pink slip in?
My dad's getting it.
Okay.
We're going to give them $250 cash. And then we're going to take Executioner, and we're going to roll over that. We're going to destroy the car. We're going to absolutely destroy it.
Hey guys. Nervous at all?
No. Well, tell you in a little bit. Tim and Mark Hall are brothers. They own a monster truck called the Executioner. Mark drives and Tim does all the work behind the scenes. They own a welding shop back home in Champaign, Illinois, where Tim lives with his parents when he's not on the road. The guy absolutely lives for monster trucks.
We're going to smash them. We're not going to jump them like we do at the races. We're just going to smash them. Then we're going to turn around and drive back up there and stop on them so people can take pictures.
Y'all want to see some crushing today? Yeah. This is Gran Torino over here.
It's a good-looking car.
It's solid, too,
It's in good shape. Already the guy's getting offers not to crush it.
Would you give 500? 5.5, 600 now, 7 now, but ain't no more $700. Everybody. I don't want you to bounce off.
impressed by Mark. You know, he had his helmet like Evel Knievel, and then afterwards women were coming up to him asking for autographs. So he was very cool about it, you know.
You have fun today? Good deal.
I sense the sport sort of has an inferiority complex. It wants to be more respected and more popular, like NASCAR. Most people just think of it as pro wrestling on wheels. Dan Patrick is one of the most popular drivers in the sport, but not one of the luckiest, at least not this weekend.
I just can't believe this. This really thoroughly pisses me off.
So I came to this event with a kind of a bad attitude. Some of the people we've met here, you know, are more laughable, and they kind of fit the stereotype of a country bumpkin. Races really fast in his truck, and he thinks it's really cool. But the Hall brothers and all these other guys who drive the monster trucks are much more serious than that. They look at it like they're NASCAR teams or NASCAR racers. And I have a lot more respect for these guys than I did when I came in here.
Dan Patrick, he got in last night too, and well, we travel a lot together. He's here to race with us, probably one of our prime competitors. They got me when they walked into my motel room. It's not fair.
How are you?
Hi.
I'm Brandy.
Hi, Brandon. Dan Patrick.
This is Paul.
Hi, Paul. You're the camera, huh?
Pleasure to meet you.
All right.
I met Dan Patrick for the first time today, and he's a pretty amazing guy. He drives the monster truck called Samson. He does all the maintenance, all the work, travels across the country. He does all these things by himself. He's sort of a one-man band.
That tire is 850 pounds.
What? Oh my God.
You have to respect it.
I'm a good old boy in a four-wheel drive truck.
That's perception a lot of people that don't understand our industry think. We're just a bunch of good old boys in a truck with big tires.
He says he's on the road 250 days out of the year. That's a long amount of time to be away from your family.
When you're a one-person operation like me, you have to really stay very organized. There's a million things that you can do wrong. And it only takes one out of that million to screw the whole thing up.
Dan's toughest competitor this weekend is Bigfoot. That's the multi-million-dollar corporation with more trucks and more manpower than all the Dan Patricks and Tim Halls combined. It's the truck the kids idolize and the competitor all drivers struggle to beat.
What's your favorite truck? This one, the Bigfoot. How come? I don't know, because it looks cool.
In a lot of small venues, yeah, Bigfoot gets an upper hand, an unfair advantage, but when you're racing them, you're racing the best there is. It's taught us a lot how to prepare the truck, how to tune the truck. That's why we feel like we've came a long ways with our racing program by racing those guys.
Bigfoot literally invented monster trucks back in the early 70s when one guy crushed a couple of cars in a field outside St. Louis. He named the truck Bigfoot, and the sport was born.
Bigfoot builds up its first place lead.
This Titanic truck is 7 tons of raw power.
Today, the sport attracts 10 million fans a year, and the promoter, Terry Dickerson, wants a piece of the action.
Terry Dickerson.
He owns a marketing company here in Southern California, and this is his first time ever putting on a monster truck show.
What I want is like $500 worth of free food. And you know, if you go buy them anywhere, they're $50 or $60 because I saved $300 on the dirt.
Terry has been on his cell phone now, I think since 7:01 this morning.
I mean, I don't mind putting on credit card, but it sure be easier for my bookkeepers. Oh, I'd sure like to wrap this up today.
How much money did you personally have to put up?
This show costs approximately $76,000 to around $80,000. I mean, no doubt we're here to make money, but if we break even, we're not going to duck our heads and go cry. I mean, we'll be satisfied, but we got good potential. So that blue car is the end car down there, right?
What's the big thing about tonight? What do you want to see tonight?
Pack stands and have to turn people away. That's what I want to see tonight.
I left Dan for 1 hour this afternoon. When I came back, he was a total mess.
All I know is it hurts.
I was looking at the track and I just stepped down. There was a hole there.
And you think you broke your ankle or just twisted it?
I don't know.
What does it feel like?
Shit.
Feel like somebody.
Did you hear what just happened to Dan?
That's why we're
Yeah, I
filling in the
did.
hole.
They're filling in the hole. That way nobody else does that.
Where was the hole? Right here?
Right
Right
there.
there.
Which foot was it?
This is gas foot. The gas foot. Told me it was a brake foot. Wouldn't be that big a deal.
I just can't believe this. This really thoroughly pisses me off more than I'll ever be able to say in words that are decent of any kind.
Dan's headed to the hospital and it doesn't look good. If he can't race tonight, it could be a financial fiasco for him, and even worse for Terry. Dan sprained his ankle, or maybe even broke his ankle at the track about 30 minutes ago. This is like the worst thing that could possibly happen and totally unexpected.
Is it mainly in your ankle or in your knee? Ankle, okay. Move your toes for me? Oh boy. You ready? Shouldn't hurt. All right, let's get an x-ray and we'll see what you did.
So what do we have here?
Nothing much, just has a bad sprain. There's some soft tissue swelling. No fracture. He's gonna live.
The event's over for me tonight. I mean, to put it in a very polite form, I'm totally screwed for tonight.
This is my wife.
Hello.
This is Sherry. This is my wife, Tammy. That's my daughter.
Hey there.
Hey,
The
what?
fairground. The lady from the fair said that she was full short on the tickets that you gave her.
She's driving me crazy. She can be for early.
So now Terry Dickerson, the promoter, is down one driver, and he's got 80 grand of his own money riding on this weekend alone. And if this thing busts, it's all over for him.
You look pretty tense right now. What's going on?
Oh, we need more people already. This is the part that hurts your belly. Terry to Jim McIntyre. Terry to Bill McIntyre. Bill McIntyre. Terry to Jim McIntyre. Terry to Jim McIntyre. Bill McIntyre. We tonight have 4 fair managers that'll be in the stands. You want to be pros? Let's act like pros. The motels, let's take care of them. These grounds, let's take care of them. If I find it not happening, you're gone.
$10 your change. Enjoy.
You've watched them on TV, now you're going to get to see them live and in person. Got big boys with the big toys.
You're gonna do what?
I'm gonna drive the truck in unannounced.
You're gonna drive what truck in unannounced?
Mine.
And what?
There's nothing. Just relax. Just pull up behind.
Oh my God. When we got back after being at the hospital, Dan was insistent upon getting in his truck and just driving the truck into the arena.
The first one that I want to introduce to you had a little bit of hard luck earlier tonight. He does have a broken leg. It is his right leg. He did want to participate. Ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause, Mr. Dan Patrick.
I didn't know what was going on. And then when he got out, I finally realized, oh, he's getting out to sign autographs. He wanted to just make the fans happy.
How'd you really hurt your foot?
How'd I really hurt? I jumped off a 20-story building and I fell on a pop can.
Did you really?
No.
Oh, the lands of the free. Yeah, the home of Ladies and gentlemen, start your engine.
Most of the guys on the circuit don't have the luxury of taking their families along for the ride.
Instead of bringing my usual to the family reunion, I brought...
Dan hasn't seen his wife and daughters in 6 weeks and won't for another 2. I know juggling a family in this business is really rough, not to mention the phone bills.
I drove a truck in for an autograph session and signed autographs and stuff, so it's the right one. For the left one, you know, I could do something about it. I mean, there's ways I could drive, but I'm not comfortable about it.
Tim Hall and Executioner are about to go up against their top rival, the almighty Bigfoot. Tim really wants the win.
How many of you likes the Bigfoot truck? And how many of you likes the Executioner?
If it was a popularity contest, we just won, but I don't know if it means anything. Bigfoot won. Yeah, we ran over a pole. We were disqualified.
I got into that pole right here.
Oh, well. Good job.
Good run. Good run, Mark.
This is such an overwhelming evening for my first monster truck show. My own expression on my face, like I had this giant grin. You know, I was like, oh my God, this is great. You know, I wished I was Mark, because he was like an astronaut for these kids.
Terry's got 2 chances to be a successful promoter, and he's used up one of them. All he has left now is Saturday night.
This is our poster girl. Her name is Christy. Hello. Hi, Christy. Hi, how are you? We're gonna go some shots. You wanna come along? Sure. Okay.
I don't have the, you know, I don't have quite the body that the other woman has.
I want to see it turn completely around.
Saturday night, the show's really crucial for Terry. Last night, he clearly did not make any money.
I'm not satisfied, but I'm not ready to throw my hands up and give up. Of course, if we got the same crowd tonight, we won't make any money at all, but the show was awesome. Show was awesome.
They tell me you're going to drive. You're going to attempt to drive. Okay. While you're attempting, be sure that you attempt this way and not towards the announcer.
All I want to do is heal this young man. I want that collection plate to come right down in front of everybody.
I got it.
I don't want to hear the jingle jangle of those silver coins. I want to hear those green leaves of summer drift right across the top. That's not going to heal much of you.
In Dan's mind, he sees this as a job that he's got to fulfill, and he won't get paid, supposedly, if he doesn't drive.
It's not an ego thing. Trust me, it's definitely not an ego thing. It's more of a commitment thing. Jump in my phone booth and I'll be right back.
The first one I want to introduce got bit by the full moon last night. He did not get to compete last night because his gas and brake foot is in a cast. He wanted to compete and he's going to try it tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Samson truck, Mr. Dan Patrick.
Okay, it's Dan's turn, and he's got to race Bigfoot. So I hope he does well.
Here comes Samson. This race right here might be a semi-final, ladies and gentlemen, but it's just as good as the finals. And you know what I said a while ago? If you like what you've seen so far, you ain't seen nothing yet. Dan Patrick and Samson! And one. I'll tell you what, that man right there driving under conditions that he's driving under with his foot. Ladies and gentlemen, let him hear you. Dan Patrick and Samson.
I mean, I was so into it. The trucks are riding by, and they're going around, and I'm like, yeah, you did good.
For an old man with bad foot, huh?
You got to take the lead out of that foot.
you a quick question. How many of you would like to see this show come back here next year?
So, how do you feel about your overall performance
The weekend?
Considering.
Fair, considering. I'm not going away ashamed by any means.
What does it mean that you guys won here?
Probably sell a few more t-shirts when you win, you know. I mean, you get paid a flat fee anyway at these events like this, but the more races you win, the more popular you become, and the higher that fee becomes. You know, you get a little more money because you put more people in the seats.
As for Terry, I think he just broke even.
We're satisfied. I mean, it could have been better, but we're satisfied.
I actually suspect that he lost money on this deal, although he won't admit it.
No, we broke even or made a little maybe, but you know, we could have done a lot better.
We want to know more about this life of monster trucking, the part that you can't buy a ticket to see. So we're riding this out for the long haul, because that's the only way to find out.
It's all the luggage you got for a month?
Yeah.
My type of guy.
There's only 2 pairs of underwear in here.
I'm nervous about it. I've never been in a tractor trailer before, and I gotta spend 50 hours in a tiny truck cab with 3 other guys. I'm glad I'm gonna really get to know these guys by the end of the trip, because they're probably gonna kick me out somewhere like in Arizona.
Bye, Paul!
Next time on Eyewitness. India was a small venue, but Lima, Ohio? Now this is a bona fide extravaganza. Dan's driving 50 hours to get there, non-stop. Unfortunately, his bad luck streak is tagging along.
The only pressure I have is what I'm putting on myself.
Tim and Mark Hall get a rude awakening when they go up against the industry giant, Bigfoot.
I asked Greg about running over the barrels and all like that, and he said that wouldn't.
Whoa, 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 whoa.